Let me thank all of you who have been working so hard to expose a lot of the lies that we have seen in recent years about Social Security, but most importantly, who are making the point that when the middle class of this country is disappearing, when senior poverty is getting higher and higher, the point that you and I and Senator Harkin and Rosa DeLauro and others have been making is that we are not going to balance the budget on the backs of the elderly, the children, working families, the sick, and the poor. We're not going to do that. What we understand is that when we are seeing in this country massive amounts of income and wealth inequality, such that almost all new income is going to the top 1%, and when we are living at a time when corporate profits are soaring and 1 out of 4 major corporations pays nothing in federal taxes, that within that reality, we are not going to tell somebody trying to survive on $15,000 a year on Social Security that we're going to cut her benefits and we're going to give more tax breaks to billionaires and large corporations. That is absolutely wrong. In fact, and I know that's the point Senator Harkin is going to make in a moment, when people talk about the chain CPI, a concoction that came from the Koch brothers and Pete Peterson and other billionaires, and they are arguing that the COLAs that seniors get are too generous. Honest to God, when I say this in Vermont, people start laughing. That's what they do. And I say there are some people in Washington who think the COLAs that you have gotten in recent years are too generous, and people break out in laughter. And right now, as all of you know, I think it was just an announcement today, that the COLA this year is 1.5%. That is clearly much, much too generous. Now, what all of us understand, that yeah, we do have to take a hard look at how we determine what COLAs are, but not do it the way that the billionaires want us to do by cutting back on Social Security benefits. The way we are going to do it is to segregate the purchases that seniors make from the general population, because they are very different. The truth is, if you're a 20-year-old young person and you're out buying a computer today, the likelihood is that computer is less expensive today than it was last year. That's true. Most 80-year-old seniors who are struggling to pay their bills are not buying computers. What are they buying? They're buying medicine. They're buying health care. If they live in Vermont, they're going to have to heat their homes. And probably they're buying food, I suspect. If you look at what the purchasing needs are of seniors, for a variety of reasons, they are higher than the general inflation rate. So what we should be moving toward, and Senator Harkin and I and Rosa are going to work on this issue, is in fact creating a new formulation, not which cuts Social Security, but one which provides more benefits to seniors. Second point that I want to make is we have heard a lot of distortions and dishonesty about whether Social Security is going broke. I hear that on TV every night. I hear these great pundits. We all know that Social Security is going broke. I don't know that Social Security is going broke. The Social Security Administration doesn't know that Social Security is going broke. What they tell us is there's a $2.8 trillion surplus, can pay out every benefit owed to every eligible American for the next 20 years. Now, we want to make it longer than that. We want to make Social Security solvent for 50 years, 75 years. How do you do that? I think we all know the simple, straightforward answer. And we could disagree around the edges on that one. But one of the things that you do is you say that somebody who's making $1 million a year should be contributing more into the Social Security Trust Fund than somebody who's making $113,000. Lift the cap. And I'll tell you who campaigned on this. He probably forgot about this, but there was a fellow named Barack Obama, who when he ran for president in 2008 said, lift the cap, You don't have to start at 113 or whatever it was then. Start at 250,000. Social Security will be strong for the next 50 years. He was right then. He is wrong now. We have got to lift the cap. The other point that I wanted to make, and I speak now as chairman of the Veterans Committee, and I'm going to have to run off to preside over a hearing on the Veterans Committee in a moment, is when we talk about this so-called change CPI, all of you understand this is not some kind of little tweak. It may be a tweak for Pete Peterson and other billionaires. But if you are a senior in this country struggling to keep your head above water economically, what this means is if that change CPI went into effect today, and you are 65, by the time you are 75, that's a cut of over $650 a year. By the time you're 85, it's a cut of over $1,000 a year. That is not a tweak for somebody trying to survive on $15,000, $18,000 a year. As chairman of the Veterans Committee, what I will also tell you, not widely known, is this impacts not only seniors, it impacts disabled veterans. And if you are a young disabled veteran, if you came back from Iraq and Afghanistan with serious wounds, in the course of your lifetime, this would cost you tens of thousands of dollars. So what I think we are saying loud and clear is we're not going to support tax breaks for billionaires, huge loopholes for the largest corporations in America, and then balance the budget on the backs of seniors or disabled veterans. And let me just conclude by saying this, and it's good news. We have worked, my office has worked with many of you, and on a petition, because I think inside the Beltway, what we hear from are the billionaires and the lobbyists, but in the real world, the American people are very clear in terms of poll after poll about not cutting Social Security, not cutting Medicare, not cutting Medicaid. And I'm just happy to tell you that working with many of the groups assembled here today, we have a petition now which is at something like 425,000 names, and that will go up, saying to Congress, do not balance the budget on the backs of the most vulnerable people in this country. Do not cut Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. I'm going to apologize that I have to run. I know Senator Harkin, who's the chairman of the Health Committee, we're working closely together on these issues. So I just want to thank all of you for being here and for the work you're doing. Thank you very much.